Hi there, I'm Heather Plett, and I am talking to Pamela, Barit, Nolan. Pamela and I are co-hosting a retreat that we're very excited to tell you about in Bermuda called Awakening the Heart. Pamela, do you want to start by giving people a bit of an overview of what they can expect at the retreat?
Absolutely, Heather. Heather and I have designed effectively a 3 full day and a couple of partial day experiences for really anyone in the world to come and join us in Bermuda. It's a combination of self-care through allowing yourself to come in and be held by us and the others in the retreat, as well as learning and experiencing the tools and resources that Heather and I will both bring to the retreat for you to take home with and practice beyond the time that we're together in February.
And Pamela and I have a bit of a shared language and shared history around some of our learnings. And so some of what we will bring will be an understanding of some concept of how to hold space in a group. Both of us use the circle wave, for example, when we gather people. We've both also been trained in a practice called the art of hosting meaningful conversations. So one of the things that we will do in the group with whoever is there is be really in intentional and meaningful conversations with each other. So there will be a lot of storytelling, a lot of touching in with our own personal stories so that we can learn from our own stories and explore them ourselves, but then also really benefit from hearing each other's stories in the circle. And we'll also do some very intentional personal work where you'll go off and do your own kind of work around, for example, we're going to be incorporating the labyrinth, so there'll be opportunities to walk a labyrinth and learn how that journey of a labyrinth represents your own personal spiritual journey in your life. And we may be making mandalas and doing some other creative things. And I believe, Pamela, you're going to try and get us access to some horses at some point.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lovely herd of 6 horses down in the St. George's area, and the Morans have offered us the opportunity to work with these beings. Horses are extremely attentive and emotional beings and can offer anybody the opportunity just to self-reflect as you're in community with the horses. St. George's also offers just incredible opportunities to be in touch with your own history as well as the history of the space. So the horses, the plants, our own humans in the circle should all add to a lovely kaleidoscope of offerings here in Bermuda.
I think that's one of the things I'm really excited about because because as you know, I talk a lot about holding space, and more I'm recognizing how we are also held in space by the land that we're on and by the creatures, by the trees, the plants, etc. And so tell us a little bit about St. George's, because I'm so excited about hosting a retreat in this kind of magical place.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I really, as I began to speak to Heather about this retreat and the possibility of doing it in Bermuda, St. George's wasn't the first place I was thinking about, but I ran into this wonderful colleague and friend of mine, Kristen White, who I think of as Mrs. St. George's, and she actually posed the question, what about St. George's? And I stopped for a second and I said, that's really interesting. It's a World Heritage Site. It's the first capital of Bermuda, so there's a tremendous amount of history. The buildings are all quite old and a little bit magical. There's an unfinished church there that offers potential to walk and perhaps meditate in. There's some really beautiful, rugged, open landscapes that will give us the opportunity to walk. It is February in Bermuda, which it won't be, there will be no snow, but it can be breezy and sometimes stormy, but at the same time, it could be lovely and 70 degrees, which I think is somewhere in the 20s Celsius. So we will use the outside, walk amongst the lanes. I've had other people offer to do plant-based sort of meditative walks with us. So people are excited about welcoming people into their town, as well as I think all the beings there just being willing to hold space for us. It's a really special place, and I look forward to exploring it more myself.
So do you want to also tell us a little bit about what you personally bring? Pamela and I met, is it 6 years ago now?
Mhm.
Six
Mhm.
years ago at an annual gathering that we both used to participate in called ALIA, Authentic Leadership in Action. And so we have some common interests that brought us to this work. And we started talking about doing some work together back then when we met. And so this is finally unfolding. So Pamela, talk a little bit about what you personally will bring.
Yeah. So I'm currently, I've taken a long journey through the financial services world as well as the not-for-profit world. And now I'm out on my own offering individuals, groups, and corporations the opportunity really to, as Heather said earlier, reach inside themselves and find the gifts that are perhaps buried a little more deeply than they should be in each one of us. So I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. I continue to work with nonprofits who are helping others in the world. And you know, my goal in life is to serve in the best way that I can to create a better world. And through the use of circle practice and other art of hosting techniques, offer community conversations, learning and listening, really deeply listening into what it is that we can create together, and ensuring that we do that in a very intentional and connected way.
Thanks. And my background is somewhat similar. I come out of first government and then several years in nonprofit, and have always been a story catcher. I focused on being in communications and public relations, but shifted the purpose of why I wanted to be in a story gatherer changed over the years. Maybe it didn't change, but I got more clarity on what the focus was. So stories are very important to me. I've traveled around the world in different capacities, being with people in circle and hearing their stories and working with them. And I now use that very much in my coaching work, where your stories is where we start the work, and how your truth emerges, how your own vision and direction emerges out of your stories. So I delight in sitting with people and hearing. I feel very honored when people share their stories. So I do a lot of work around that in my coaching and facilitation. And as Pamela says, I'm a Circle Way practitioner and art of hosting practitioner. And now I'm very much focused on the idea of what it means to hold space. As many know, I had a blog post that went viral on that issue, and now I am writing a book on that topic as well, and hope to have that published sometime this year. So that's my history.
Great.
Is there anything else you feel like we need to add to this before we close?
Just that I think, that this offering is really special in so many different ways, and that either Heather and I would be happy to talk to you about that more. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us through our websites, phones, whatever that need is for you, and let us talk to you about it, find if there's any blockages around what it is to give yourself this gift to come on this experience with us. We're happy to coach you through that, as well as invite you into the space. So please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us.
Thank you. Yes, and I deeply believe it's going to be a time of really deep connection with yourself and with the land and with other people in the circle. And with that connection, we named it Awakening the Heart for a reason, because when you take that time to be in connection with yourself and your surroundings, you can't help but become more awake. And in that, you challenge yourself to step out into new leadership or new living in some way. So it will change you, but it will also give you opportunity to rest and retreat.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you very much. We are really looking forward to hosting people in St. George's in February.